You know about Steve Nash too, right? Steve Nash was playing for the Phoenix Suns, and they were like hanging out or something. I don't know. And Steve Nash was like, I've got this idea for a show where like I would go basically compete against other athletes in their sport. Shaq was like, that's a good idea, and like actually went and got it made, cut Steve Nash out altogether, like gave him like a producer credit, didn't pay him nothing, just straight up stole the idea and made the show. And I don't know why he's a commentator. The dude's got as much like I'm sure that like when you meet him he's probably like very charming, but like he's got as much charisma like to lead something as a freaking Doberman pinscher, like.
Welcome to the room upstairs. My name is Bird. I'm here with my host, like usual,
the TallBeing
and Mephisjoe,
who likes to laugh a lot for no reason. Unknown reasons. Yeah, welcome. This is the podcast where we battle out stuff. Usually remakes and reboots with the originals, but today we are doing a Hour Ranters because we've got a lot of stuff to go through.
We're battling some stuff today.
We are also doing our mini battles. That's right. Yeah, it's gonna be a good battle. Yeah, it's our film composer battle with Mark Mothersbaugh versus Michael Giacchino. Ooh.
I know.
You're still undecided, I believe.
Yeah, you guys are going to sway me.
So, yeah, we're going to get into that in a minute. First, our business. Follow us on our socials. The Room Upstairs podcast. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and we're on YouTube if you're watching. Thank you. Like, subscribe. All those things that you got to do.
All that cool stuff.
If you're listening, we're on YouTube. Go find us there. That's that business.
Yeah, that's that business. We have one more business.
Yeah. I'm sitting in my throne today. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good transition, guys.
So, Conan update. We make this every episode. We have to know what's going on with the King Conan movie. And as of now, we don't know anything that's going on with the Conan movie yet. So, sorry. That's our update. Next order of business.
We got our composer battle. We can go straight into that.
Let's get right to it then. You're looking through the stuff right now.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
Okay.
Allow us to sway you.
So, quick recap. Our composer battle is 32 composers that TallBeing here picked out, some of his favorites.
Yes.
And we randomly selected, and we're battling them out.
Yeah. We've had them in a bracket. This is our second round altogether. So, a bunch of eliminations already. Mm-hmm. So, it's just been getting harder.
Yeah. Today is Mark. This guy should be eliminated just because I can't say his name correctly. Mark Mothersbaugh.
Next episode.
Versus Michael Giacchino. And I'll read through some of their stuff.
All right.
So, Mark. He has got 274 credits. If you're scrolling through his stuff, you've been scrolling for a while because he's got a ton of stuff, including
Devo.
Yes, he was part of Devo, the lead singer. Ragnarok, the Rugrats, Cocaine Bear.
Yeah,
classic. He did a lot of the early stuff with Wes Anderson, Rushmore, the Royal Tenenbaums, Life Aquatic with Steve
Bottle Rocket.
What? Bottle Rocket?
That's an early one. Yeah.
He did the Mitchells versus the Machines, the Lego movie.
That was a fun movie.
It was. And
Lego movie was a fun movie.
We got Netflix again, so now you can watch
That's true. I can finally watch that movie.
Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, which is a really cool movie. So he did that. And he did Happy Gilmore.
Which
21 Jump Street, too.
He did 21 and 22 Jump Street.
Yeah.
But Happy Gilmore, I don't know if you've got this on your list.
Okay.
But there's a part 2 that's been greenlit.
Oh, yeah. I don't have it on the list, but I do remember seeing that.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting that a part 2 is coming after
Fun coincidence.
30 years. Yeah. So everyone's been asking, I know, what's going on with Happy Gilmore? Well, finally, guys, it's greenlit.
We have answers.
Part 2 is coming, and it'll be cool if Mark Mothersbaugh does the music again.
It would, yeah.
All right, so that's some of the stuff he's done, and he's going up against Michael Giacchino, who has 167 credits to his name. He's done the Star Trek series, the new stuff. He did The Incredibles. He did the new movie If.
Really?
He did Werewolf by Night.
Which
Both
he
directed
directed.
and did the music. He did Love and Thunder.
Jupiter Ascending.
So there were some misses as far as movies. He did the Batman with
Yeah,
Robert.
it looks like he was getting some Disney work, huh?
He did a lot of Disney stuff. Yeah, a lot of the animated stuff.
Coco.
He
Coco.
took part in that.
Zootopia.
Yeah.
He did some of the new Planet of the Apes stuff, which is cool because we're getting into that now with him, which I'm really excited about because I always like those movies. Ratatouille, Up, some of the Disney stuff.
The Spider-Man Home trilogy.
Right.
It's probably another one of his more well-known ones.
Yeah. So both of these composers, very well known, very well.
Sky High.
Sky High was dope.
It was a great movie. Yeah.
It's a good movie.
I like that movie. So yeah, very well-known composers. And that's what we're getting into now is these are the guys, these are the big hitters.
Yep.
So we're going to have to eliminate somehow. Guys, make sure you can comment on any of the pages or whatever and let us know your picks. Because some of these are tough. So we've got the composers laid out. Which one of us is going first?
I can go or you can go.
Yeah, let's just start at the end then.
Okay.
All right, then. Giacchino.
That's it? You don't even like try to sway us or something?
Yeah.
We know that you like both of these because they're in the list.
All right.
Listen.
Give us your reasoning.
I'll give you my reasoning.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh my goodness, he's pulling out a... At least it's not a kazoo.
Go for it. Let's do it.
I have to stop laughing.
Okay.
Hold on.
Compose.
Yeah, it's all about the lips, man.
Yeah, you gotta get them nice and wide.
That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
And does Mark Mothersbaugh have anything that notable?
We just lost 3
He does
subscribers, man.
Or gained. I don't know.
not. Oh, we gained.
Do.
That's true. That's true.
I'm just saying, if you're going to try to say, has he given us anything that recognizable? Yes, he has.
I'd argue Giacchino has many, many more that are instantly.
Okay.
Can I play them on a harmonica? I cannot. But
All right. So you're going Giacchino.
yeah, I'll give
All right.
some more reason.
Okay.
Giacchino is my favorite composer ever of all time.
That's a good reason.
Yeah. That obviously that is gonna mean there's a little bias, but he earned that because of his just extensive amount of hits. I mentioned before that this was going to be an interesting one because one of them did Ragnarok and one of them did Love and Thunder,
Right.
which both have very similar tones, slightly different. Ragnarok goes for more of a synthwave kind of sound, whereas Love and Thunder, he decided to go for more of like an 80s rock ballad feel for the music. And I liked that better. Was the movie better? It was not. No. But I liked his music just a little bit more.
Okay.
And it was more memorable to me. The Batman is one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. It is so good, and like the ambiance that you get from it.
The Catwoman theme is
the
pretty
Catwoman
good.
theme is like this jazzy. It feels like a street cat. The Riddler theme is just like hooing sounds. It's bizarre, and then the Batman theme is just
itself.
this, like constantly, it doesn't stop. It is this continuously marching forward. Like it sounds like this force that you cannot stop, no matter how much you want to. And
Pretty good arguments.
and that's just the Batman. I could go on about how I think he created the definitive Spider-Man theme.
Yeah.
How he did,
Which you have before.
Yeah, which I have. So I won't do that again here. But as I just showed, Up. I didn't even have to say what movie that was from. We just all knew.
Yeah. But we also knew Rugrats.
That's true.
Explain to us how he made the definitive My Brother the Pig theme.
I can't do that.
Because that's also on his list.
Yeah. I was saying Mothersbaugh, also really good. I really enjoyed his stuff more than I thought. I did way more research for this one, partially just because I enjoyed listening to both of them a lot. Mothersbaugh, I specifically liked the music he did for the Our Flag Means Death show. on HBO, which is a Taika Waititi. I know Taika Waititi's in it. I don't remember if he directed it. But that brought me over to the Jojo Rabbit soundtrack, which I know Taika Waititi directed. And it was very interesting to me how similar they were, despite being different composers entirely and how different their styles are.
Giacchino did Jojo Rabbit, right?
Yeah, Giacchino did Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, that's interesting because they both have worked with Taika.
Yeah, and that's the point I was going to bring up is I think it's really a testament to both of their skills that working under the same director, they have a very similar sound. Like they obviously understand what he's going for in his movies or his show to be like, okay, yeah, we can do that.
Right.
So they can both adapt very, very well.
Yes. Yeah,
just like Giacchino.
And that's what made it tough for me. There's one composer that I want to move on for sure. I want to see move on. So this was a difficult one because, well, one, they've worked with some of the same directors, and they've done a good job, both of them. Mark Mothersbaugh, the stuff that he does or did with Wes Anderson, I super enjoy that
he does
stuff.
Have some good stuff with Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson's visuals are one thing, but they don't work without the music being the quirky kind of like off balance, off kilter kind of music, kind of sound, and I mean, Mark Mothersbaugh's he's the perfect one to bring in for that. So like the movies are made because of his music. Ragnarok, the stuff on there, another perfect movie because he came from the 80s sound. So to have like that 80s sound in that movie with the Sakaar theme, like, I mean, the perfect dude to, and we talked about it in the last battle with Cocaine Bear. You know, the movie itself is obviously not really a serious, like, you don't, that's not going to win any Academy Awards or anything, but the music for it's
very fun,
perfect for that movie. The Rugrats too. Like, I never even watched the Rugrats, but I know the music.
Yeah. Plus, and this is kind of a big deal to me. Like, until we were reading that list, no idea he'd Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But it works. It's perfect and it fits.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, 200 and whatever credits. Not all the movies were hits.
Yeah.
Same with Giacchino. I mean, all the composers like that, right? Not all the movies are hits. But does the music work? Yes, he makes it work. So I want to see him move on. Yeah. Because it'll be interesting to match him up against other composers. Else. Yeah. But I do favor Giacchino. And again, mainly for, like, he does have those hits that we've talked about before with Ludwig and with Williams and Newton Howard. Like, there's ones that you
have to get.
I know that one. Yeah. And like you were saying, he matches up just as well as Mothersbaugh does when he does movies and with the directors that he's working with. So like they're even there. They're different in their style, but they're even. And since we have to eliminate some, I have to go like, well, he's got. I'd be more likely to listen to Giacchino stuff just on its own rather than Mothersbaugh stuff. Yeah. Like watching I love Wes Anderson movies, and I would, again, partly because of the music, so I would enjoy that to the fullest. But if I'm on my off time, I do like hearing Batman. So even Up, like, I mean, that song that you played, the way that he used it in the movie, it's the same melody, but either slowed down or sped up. Chords were lower to change the feel. But that was there the whole time, but like it gives you different feelings just depending on what was going on. I mean, he totally killed that part. No pun intended.
He intends his puns, though.
He does. You're right, he does.
Because that is the other thing I love about him. Just looking through the track lists for any movie he does is full of puns.
And that might be a way to pick later on, right? Like, I don't know who to pick. Well, he's funnier, so I'm going to pick him. Like, it's just going to be that difficult. Should I make it difficult for you?
Sure.
And just go with Mothersbaugh?
If you want, that's your call, man. It's your vote.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go with Mothersbaugh.
Okay.
I want to see him move on.
I also went with Mothersbaugh.
Oh!
It was tough. I'll be real.
You traitor.
I did not think that was coming.
Yeah, so I don't know. When I look at them, like, I don't know. I feel like Mothersbaugh kind of paved the way for this kind of artistry, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he's been doing it since, I mean, clearly right after Devo, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you can say whatever you want about like iconic sounds, but like he's given us some of the most iconic sounds. Yeah, like, and he's so much. I feel like there's more eclectic sounds, like more eclectic choices. Mm-hmm. And the Tenenbaums is a good example. Like, you're right, man. Those movies, like, the visuals and stuff are one thing, and the acting obviously, but the sound, he matches it every single time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they all have different elements, right? They might have the same feel because they're still
it's the Anderson movies.
Yeah, they're still the Wes Anderson movies, so they're going to have that Wes Anderson feel. But each one of them has its own rhythm and its own sound. Yeah. And that's not super easy to do. Like, mm-hmm. Especially it's one thing to, like, the big superhero movies, like, oh, you establish a sound and you're going to kind of rework that for each sequel. That's one thing, right? But to make it unique for each individual installment, because they're from the same director who wants quirk, but they're not tied together.
They're not the same movie. It's not an entirely separate.
And he's been doing that for a long time, man. And that's why I mentioned the Happy Gilmore, because, man, I would have never in a million years been like, Mark Mothersbaugh, what are you talking about? The guy who did Rugrats? Right? Like, and it works, and it's a great movie, and it's got the music, like, makes sense for that movie. Yeah. Right? And I'm not trying to take anything away from Giacchino. He's amazing. He's great. He deserves to be your favorite. Deserves to be on the list. Yeah. But if we're moving on, if we're moving on, and we want him to have a chance, right? If we're gonna hold up projects and say, like, this makes him worthy of defeating this other guy, I think the eclecticness of Mark Mothersbaugh's career, and just because he can go from things that, like, I mean, the tone of Happy Gilmore is drastically different than the tone of Royal Tenenbaums or any of those Wes Anderson films. Like, so he's got this great, amazing range, and that range might be the thing that carries him on, right? Yeah. And I don't have the he's not my favorite. Right, like, but coming in, literally, I had no opinion either way.
A lot of respect for him.
Yeah, so I don't have that attachment to him. So I feel like, you know, for me, it's just like who do I think might match up really well in the future? You know, we're at the point now where every single one of them I feel is going to be tough, except for maybe the next one. But everyone's going to be kind of tough, and it's going to be a fist fight. You know, and
we're going to be getting very dirty.
Yeah, and so at this point, I'm like, you know, it'll be more fun to see him go up against somebody.
I think so. Agree with that. I think so. Yeah. Well, I mean, definitely some disappointments in the room.
Yeah. I'm gonna go cry.
I was talking about me because I have to keep trying to say his name, so that's kind of disappointing.
I just call him Eminem.
Oh, that's a good idea. That'll be much easier and much less confusing.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Well.
Not what I expected.
Officially announced that Mark Mothersbaugh is gonna move on.
Yeah.
Sorry, Michael Giacchino, you
win in my heart.
Yeah.
The whole rest of
you get the People's Choice Award, maybe. I don't know.
Crying.
Yeah. I didn't win the room upstairs. I can't even win that.
I made this list for him.
You guys let us know if you agree or disagree. We would love to know on this one.
Can I be really, really honest?
Yeah.
What won it for Mark Mothersbaugh was the second he pulled out that harmonica. I'm just kidding.
I doomed it from the start.
Okay, well, Mothersbaugh's moving on. Next battle is going to be... You want to announce it?
I will announce it.
Okay.
Next battle will be Daniel Pemberton, another personal favorite,
Yay.
for very obvious reasons,
Yeah.
versus John Williams. I wonder how that's going to
go. That is... It'll be an interesting one if we get a... There's a definite underdog.
Yeah,
So, but the underdog won today, I think.
that's true.
You guys can start giving us your votes. John Williams, Daniel Pemberton. Who do you want to see move on in the bracket? Just a quick, off the top of who I can remember: John Williams, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Jaws,
E.T.
That's enough for now.
We could keep going.
Daniel Pemberton did the new Spider-Verse movies.
Ford v Ferrari.
Yeah.
There's another big one. I think he did that Damsel movie.
Did he?
I'm pretty sure.
I know he did the Enola Holmes stuff.
Pemberton.
A lot of good stuff.
It's not a good sign when you're like, oh, what was that other one? Right. And you can just list off for one of them.
Right. So
Like let's
The
stop
bad
listing off for that one.
guys.
he did the bad guys, which look at maybe we don't remember them as well. But the music on there,
maybe that's a good sign.
the music on there was really good. I really like the bad guys music.
Yeah.
I
Is that
really
the
like
animated one?
Yeah.
I still never seen it.
No.
Oh, he did Birds of Prey.
He did Birds of Prey.
Okay, we can get to this later.
Mhm.
We can get to this later.
Okay, John Williams Pemberton's next. Let us know your votes on that. Let us know what you think of the Mothersbaugh moving forward. And let's get into
Our stuff.
all our other things that we got going on.
All right.
Now we're going to get into our ranting.
Yeah,
All right.
because that wasn't.
That
If
was
you
not.
thought we were ranting before.
Mm-hmm.
To start, this ties in perfectly with our last episode because Amazon has announced Roadhouse 2.
I saw that, and you know what? I'm here
You're
for
in?
it.
Yeah.
You're like, you were asking for it. You're
I
like, I would
was.
like to see Conor McGregor naked some more. So-
Yeah. I mean, he's probably dead, but you know,
What?
didn't he get killed? Didn't he like stab him in the
No.
heart or
Did
something?
you see the post
No,
credits?
yeah.
Oh,
was a post
oh, there was a
credits.
post. I didn't watch the post credits.
Oh, no, he walked out of the... Oh, spoilers, sorry. He walked out of the hospital.
Okay, yeah, let's
beating
do
up
this.
the doctor's bloody, wearing nothing but the robe. He just walks out.
Okay, so now I gotta go watch the whole movie again so I can see that scene.
Okay.
So Roadhouse 2.
Roadhouse 2.
That's
I don't
fun.
think that it's necessary, but it's coming out, and the first one was
the
enjoyable.
remake necessary? No.
Right? It wasn't. But, I mean, you know, remakes, they're our bread and butter here, so I'm not going to
True.
complain about that.
Wait a minute. If the remakes aren't necessary, then this podcast is not necessary.
Well, that's why I just said that.
Oh, we were trying not to say those words. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, so the second one coming out, whatever. First one was enjoyable enough, so.
Yeah, remakes are like the harmonicas of. Just
I'm not backing down from this one.
No. Your next is going to be the Godzilla theme. Do that one.
Later.
Oh,
later.
okay.
the Godzilla theme is Oh man, that'd be dope.
Oh, I know it.
Oh, do you?
I do.
All
That's
what
right,
I'm
all
saying.
right. All right.
We'll just end the podcast.
I'm trying to
that
get
way.
him to learn some like Blues Traveler. You know.
Yeah.
Oh,
one
yeah.
one of these days.
Yeah.
It'll be like, that's Phantom
He
Fleet.
listened to it. I played it for him. He was like, "Yeah, that's way too hard right now, man."
Oh,
I'm working on it.
yeah, he'll
I was
get
like,
there.
"Yeah, that's Blues Traveler, man."
Yeah. That's good harmonica.
That's good
Okay.
harmonica.
Next.
Next, so also relevant, Fantastic Four cast 4 new actors.
Yeah.
We've got Galactus cast.
It's not Antonio.
It is not Antonio Banderas.
Another disappointment.
It is Ralph Ineson,
Mm-hmm.
who did stuff.
He did.
Yeah, he was in the Green Knight and other things.
He's a good actor. He's one of those guys that like maybe you don't know the name right away, but
Like
you
Mark Strong.
yeah, like Mark Strong.
You're like, "Oh, that dude. Oh, he's a good actor."
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He's like that. Yeah. So this guy's cast. Who else?
We also have Natasha Lyonne,
Yeah.
who we don't
Another
know.
one.
Wasn't
don't-
she in those
American
American
Pie?
Pie movies?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
she was in that.
like
that-
Russian Doll or whatever it's
that-
called.
yeah.
The-
hmm
Yeah.
in the she's the main girl in that Ryan
Johnson.
Johnson.
Yeah, in the
that
Russian
show.
doll.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Or-
I think so. I don't know. Maybe
It's like
not.
a Netflix show or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's also in one episode of New Girl.
Nice.
She's another really good actress.
Yeah.
I think she was in that Orange is the New Black. Never watched it.
She was in
But, I think
another like really big.
I think she was like a
drama movie
Netflix
like that.
person. You know.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think she's got a lot of Netflix creds.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, she does good stuff.
I wonder if she's gonna play Alicia Masters.
That's who it seems to be rumored right now.
Yeah, because it makes sense.
Yeah. I
She
can
have
see it.
red hair, curly hair,
Well,
kind of.
I mean,
They could
I
be.
think
it
so.
depends.
I think
They
she's.
could do
I think she's redhead. Yeah, but it's one of those weird things. Like comics, like tons of redheads. Like
Yeah.
back in the day. I think that Stanley definitely had a type. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. So continuing on, Paul Walter Hauser
Okay.
of Cobra Kai fame. It's our boy Stingray.
Oh, that's right,
Oh, yeah.
Stingray.
I-
No idea who he's playing. All
No,
right.
I am personally hoping for Mole Man.
Mole Man. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I really, really want
He
him to
definitely
play
has
Mole
the
Man.
chops to be Mole Man.
Yeah, that's another good addition.
And,
He won an award, right? For what's the movie
I think
they?
for something. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what movie he was in. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. And finally, John Malkovich.
Oh yeah.
He's playing himself.
I mean, this.
He seems like the current rumor is Puppet Master.
Oh, Alicia Masters' dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, that's a wild amount of villains. If those are all the characters.
Yeah, but
that they're
Mole
actually
Man's not
playing.
gonna be around too long.
Yeah,
Come on, like that.
He's gonna be like.
He
the
might be like
beginning
our
of
establishing.
Incredibles 2.
Yeah,
Right.
The Underminer.
Yeah, the cast for this and the cast for Superman are like
stacked.
heavy.
Yeah.
And
They
the
are
fact that
heavy.
they're, I think they might still
Come
be
out
the
at the same
same
time?
opening weekend, or if they aren't, it's like 2 weeks.
That's probably
apart.
on purpose. Like my big deal is right, and I love it. Let's hire all the best actors we can.
We need a good
We
script
need a good.
for it.
Yeah, let's not overlook.
Right.
Like if you're just gonna give us more crap, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Right. There's lots of movies that have lots of really great actors in them, and they bomb.
And can't wait to talk about this next episode because that's what happens in the next episode in our battle for the next episode.
All right, so pivot a little bit
Okay.
to some more superhero stuff. This time, DC,
Okay.
because the Supergirl movie got a release date,
Yeah.
and it's on a wonderful day.
And we got our first images of Superman.
We did. So Supergirl, June 26th, 2026.
Yeah.
Special day.
I don't know that day for anything.
Yeah, I don't know. And then Superman suit reveal.
Yeah.
What do we think?
This means nothing to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just them being like, "Hey, look, here's the suit."
Yeah.
But
It's cool. You can speculate on things. You go, oh, that's came from this version of Superman and this version of Superman. It doesn't tell me anything.
yeah,
Well, kind of. It kind of does. The picture does speak a little bit, like he's got the dust on his suit, so it looks like he's gone through some kind of battle or.
the big sun. And
What it tells me
Yeah.
is James Gunn is a purist, man. This is Superman in his classic colors and costume.
we got the trunks.
We've got the trunks.
Yeah.
Like this is him making a statement, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not a bad statement. Like Zack Snyder was doing a thing. It was different. Definitely a different take. And it would have been great to see him get to see that to fruition or see its end. But that's not where we're at. But this is him saying, look, what was before is different, right? What he wants is a Superman who
Takes his time.
sticks to the Superman stuff, right? Like this is the Superman who stands up for good, and he, even if he looks ridiculous wearing the trunks, right?
It's-
Like this
it's
is
awesome.
his classic, harkens back to all the things that made Superman liked to begin with, right?
I just gotta say, as a collar enthusiast, the suit makes me happy, and that's all I care.
He does
about.
have the high collar.
He matches the Robert Pattinson
Uh,
bat suit with the high collar.
Did you say Battinson?
Yeah,
yeah.
That's who he is now.
he's
That's-
Pattinson.
Yeah.
Robert.
You got Batfleck, right?
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
You got Battinson.
Yeah, Christian.
He doesn't have.
Yeah, no, can't really do it with his name.
Yeah, but I don't get that from the picture. What you just said.
I do, because like when you look at like what's his name, Snyder like tried to stray really hard away from Superman's actual costume. Like when he finally
Like you go,
does
oh,
wear
it's
it,
a different Superman.
when he finally, and then in the second movie, like he's wearing the black costume or whatever. Like he just did not like sticking to
Yeah. Well,
what came before, you know.
I'll say I don't if you guys remember when we were talking about the Spider-Man movies, I really couldn't tell a difference with all the suits. You guys were like, "Yeah, he's got the suit with the stripes and the spiders of this size," and I was like, I thought they were all the same suit. So the suits don't really do anything for me. So the picture was just like, "Oh yeah, it's cool. Superman's coming," but we already knew that. So
suits are important, man. You should know this. You saw that episode of X-Men, right?
Which one are you talking about?
When they're gearing up to go.
Oh, okay.
And Cyclops gives Cable the X-Men costume.
That was cool. You're ready to talk about that.
I'm just saying.
Okay,
It's relevant.
all right. Let's go there. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's relevant.
It's time.
Okay.
Our final thing.
Dun, dun, dun,
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Did they get sued about that song?
What?
Didn't they get sued over that song?
I don't think so.
Why would they get sued over
Oh yeah,
it?
you guys talk for a second. I'm gonna find it for you.
Okay. As we were saying,
That
dun.
soundtrack releases on the 24th.
That's right.
I'm so ready.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll start with the soundtrack because the soundtrack was great. Obviously, everybody we know the theme song. We've always liked the theme song. Yeah. The way that they reused the theme song at the end.
I mean, they reused it multiple times through the show.
Did they?
Yeah, in different.
But like
scenes.
different.
Yeah. But that specific one is definitely
that one
best
really
example.
stood out to me.
It has like the choir vocals.
It was hot.
Yeah.
That was some hot fire. So yeah, I'll listen to the soundtrack for that.
Newton Brothers, thank you.
And they might make the next composer battle list.
Yeah.
If they keep it up. Okay, so how are we going to talk about X-Men? Because we talked about X-Men 1 through 5 in one of our past episodes.
Yeah. So this is going to be full show, full spoilers.
Full spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay. I like to keep it spoiler light.
Okay.
But there will still be some spoilers.
Let's start real quick. Just our overall thoughts of the show.
Okay,
with no spoilers.
So, in 2019, Hungarian composer Zoltán Kriszko sued Marvel, Disney, Fox, Apple, Amazon, and other media companies connected to the X-Men the animated series for allegedly plagiarizing the theme song from the 1980s Hungarian show Linda the Policewoman.
This is the 80s version?
This is the Linda the Policewoman.
Okay.
It's weird, I know. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me time.
Here in the background?
Oh. That's close.
Oh, yeah. That's really close.
That's close.
Yeah.
Did they win?
I didn't look it up, but yeah, I was.
I mean, we're still using it.
That's
so.
close.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
that
like the
doesn't
fact
mean
that
they
it's still
didn't
being
win.
used means they're
Yeah, they could have
they
just.
just throwing money at him or something. Yeah.
Yeah, they could be splitting it or whatever. Like anytime you use this now, you give us something.
Yeah.
Who knows? But they don't have credit on any of it, so maybe they. I don't know. That's close though.
Yeah, that's rough.
Okay, well, kind of messes up for me.
Show ruined.
You automatically goes down a grade. All right, overall thoughts.
Yeah.
Not taking into account that our childhood was just thrown into the deep sea.
We can give overall thoughts and our spice meter.
Okay.
So
Who's gonna start?
I'll start.
Okay.
All right. So I didn't grow up with this show, believe it or not, the original one. This show was awesome. This was great. I get it now. I get why people like the X-Men so much. I understand why the comics are one of the consistently more popular parts of the Marvel universe. I get why they are their own corner of it entirely. I get it.
Yeah, because the first X-Men things you saw were the movies.
Yeah, and I did watch the first season of the original show, but even that, I was like, yeah,
it's
cool. Like
but you had watched the movies already, though.
So
I might have, yeah.
the movies, like, it was hard. It was weird for me because, like, I grew up. I thought they were great. I read the comics. Like, I love the Claremont era stuff. It's really hard because you hit a point like in the early thousands where it kind of like I don't know. They just get real weird with stuff, right? But in my opinion, I'm gonna let this guy speak for me.
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
There you go. So then you liked it also.
I loved it.
Okay.
I thought it was a return to like the best parts of the original series.
Amped up to 11.
Yeah, and you know, I think I mentioned this before. We talked about it a little bit in earlier episodes. Like they, it seems like they really get most of the characters right. Like I'm a huge Cyclops fan. Like he's basically the Captain America of the
X-Men,
the mutant, not just the X-Men, but like the mutant world. And they've done him real dirty in the comics not too long ago. I think they're like trying to get him back to that point now. But like this show from the beginning, they're like, hey, you guys, Cyclops is dope, man. Like this is why he's leading. Weird. Yeah. He was like, I'm just going to jump out of this plane. Right. Like, or the plane got hit and he's going down. He's like, go catch them. Right.
Yeah, I got this.
Yeah. Or when he goes in, he just starts like using his optic blast, to, like throw himself around the room to like knock dudes out. It was really great for a number of reasons. Like I hated what the movies did. They were like, oh, Wolverine, whatever. It's like listening to Todd McFarlane talk about Batman, right? Yeah. Like, have you ever listened to Todd McFarlane talk about that? It's like Todd McFarlane, he has the licensing for like DC action figures right now, and every single line has a version of Batman. And when Todd McFarlane talks about it, he's like, because Batman is like the only thing worthwhile in DC. I'm like, he's an idiot. You can like I feel about Todd McFarlane like I feel about Shaquille O'Neal, which I think that was before we started recording, right?
Yeah, it was.
It's very high opinion of both these guys, right? But like they were like, it's all Wolverine. It's all about Wolverine. That was never Wolverine. Like, yeah, he's like people love him, and he's probably one of the most popular X-Men character, probably.
But it was never centered around.
But it was never centered around. Like Wolverine is a guy who, and that's part of my frustration, because I talk about how they did Cyclops dirty. Like also, like because of how popular the movies were, like they brought Wolverine more center. Like now he's like leading one of the school, the Jean Grey School for Mutants or whatever. I'm like, Wolverine, who smokes cigars and kills people, right? The guy who like has memory issues, been alive, or like you're gonna have this guy. So like,
and they always went to him in the movies,
and every time
we need to find Wolverine.
And I appreciate the first movie a little bit because it was like, oh, Wolverine centric, it's all about Wolverine, and then like Magneto's like, it's not about you, bro, right?
Out of the way.
Yeah, and then like it's all about Rogue. I appreciated that because I was like, thank you. Like, why would anybody be going after Wolverine? Like he's not. Like, his powers are great. That's fine. Oh, you can heal or whatever. There are people who do it better. Yeah. Right? You got metal claws. Okay. Like, so what? There's people out there who can kill better. Like, not to say I like Wolverine. Got no problem with Wolverine. Think he's a fine member of the team. But it was always about the team. Yeah. And we really got that in the show, right? The team is front and center. You felt it in episode 5 when one of the team members dies, right? And are aghast at the beginning of episode 6 when he's already missing from the intro credits.
Oh
right?
gosh, yeah.
And I appreciate that happened as well, right? Because the original series and even the comics, let's be real, like especially Jean Grey with the Phoenix Force, like
dies.
There's the stakes aren't real. Nobody dies. Nobody stays dead. Right? When I was younger and read comics, like that was the joke. Was like nobody stays dead except Uncle Ben and Bucky Barnes, right?
And now it's just Uncle Ben.
Right. I keep waiting for that not to be true too. Because Bucky Barnes is back, right? But I appreciate that. I hope they don't bring him back. Never bring him back. Yeah. Right. As much as I love the character, I think he's great. Like I think the '90s show really made him way more popular than he was. But
talking about the one that died.
Yeah. Okay. But it gave us good stakes, right? Because now for real, it's like, hey man,
anything could happen.
Anything could happen, yeah. And that's what we get in the finale, right? Like
we don't know what's
this is great. Yeah, we're in uncharted territory. Like there have been several stories where they're like time hopping or whatever, but for the most part, I don't know where they're going with this. Yeah. Right? Like the future ones, I think I do because I've read spin-off series, right? Like the Adventures of Cyclops and Jean Grey. I think that's where they're going to go with that. The past ones,
Unsure? No idea.
I kind of got an idea there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when we see Ensabaner, right?
Yeah.
Wonder who that is.
He seems like a nice fellow. I'm sure
Yeah, with
nothing terrible will
Big
happen
old
with
blue
him.
lips.
Yeah. Very mysterious.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, also thought it was a great show. I was gonna do a joke of like, no, it was horrible, but it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. There's
You
no
can't
fronting
even
on that.
slander it.
No,
It's just
no, it was a good show. So I'm gonna rate it on the spice meter, so we can get into details of it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and rate it on the spice meter for me. Get a nice plate of X-Men served. 92.
It's not 97.
Not 97. 92. Good spice. Good flavor. It's not too spicy. Right there. Few things missing to make it really like the perfect meal. But it was good.
So what would you say
would
was
go-
missing?
Well, we had talked about this kind of stuff before. So
Should we do this in spoilers?
okay, go ahead and do your ratings, and then we'll get into spoilers.
So I'm gonna give it solid 90.
Less than me.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right there.
another surprise.
Yeah, I really loved this show.
Okay.
This is probably gonna end up being my show of the year.
Okay.
But there were things missing and things that very obviously they just didn't know what to do with. And I was like, okay. Like, it's not perfect for sure. But man, is it respectable.
Yeah. What do you give it?
I'm gonna take the joke. I'm gonna give it a 97. Yeah, there for sure. Like some things I have issue with. I think I mentioned one in passing with TallBeing over there. And when we do the spoiler section, we'll discuss it. But yeah, it was really good. Everything that I loved about the original, and nostalgia aside, like I'm far more of a critic now than I ever was. Still, man, I would
Still holds
rewatch
up.
every episode again right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, quick recap on the spice meter in case there's new people listening. We start at 50. That's just whatever show always starts at 50, and then
Or movie.
movie, yeah, and then we add or take off points according to what we liked, and it's each of our own taste, right? Because that's everyone has their own opinion. So some people like stuff a little more spicy. Some people like it a little less spicy. You can overspice, so we can go over 100 if we think like, oh, it was really good, but a little too much of such and such. So it's like 110 or whatever.
If you've ever watched like one of the like classic 1980s Schwarzenegger movies, right? Overspice.
Yeah, very good example. Yeah, great movies, but like, what are you guys doing with these punchlines? And
Yeah.
you
Like that scene in Predator where him and what's his name grab each other's arm and they just like flex for like 2 minutes. Like, that's overspice.
But again, that could be overspiced for you, but not for somebody else.
That's true.
So like, we've got we've got a lot of room to work with, so we're very comfortable with this rating system. So far, we did change it. Before,
because before it was like we're starting at 50 because like that's just a median level, right?
Yeah.
If you like stuff, give it points. Like I don't think there's any hundreds yet.
No, not yet.
But
that's perfect spice.
That's perfectly spiced. You're like, man, this movie could not have been more perfect. And then you can get so bad that hey, man, we're hitting a 0,
right.
And then the overspice obviously throws it above 100, and that's it did a little too much.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. That's our spice meter. That's our spice ratings for this show.
Yeah.
All above 90 or above. So
Yeah.
it's a good meal.
Take that as you.
We're
as
eating
you
real
will.
good.
Yep.
All right, well, we're going to get into
Spoilers?
spoilers then.
Yeah.
All right, if you haven't seen the show, time to
Go watch it.
click off for now, pause it, and then come back. Or just listen and watch the show anyway.
So I averaged them out. We're at a 93.
93. There you
I
go.
want to say that's the year the show started, so that makes sense.
Stop looking for connections, man. This is weird.
Okay, so how are we going to do
All right, so
spoilers.
I think this transitions pretty well. We start with things we didn't like as much.
Okay. Good way to start.
So we can get that out of the way.
Morph.
You didn't like Morph?
No, okay. I appreciate Morph. I like that they've gone with the white face, which was something that happened in the Exile comics later on, right? Because Morph didn't exist in the comics before that show. But like Morph's shtick is that he can like change appearance, and so he's got like a high pain tolerance because like he's elasticy, kind of like Mr. Fantastic, I believe, is supposed to have like a higher pain tolerance or whatever. When he morphs into somebody, he doesn't get their powers, man. That's weird. He like turned into Hulk, and now he's Hulk. Like, if that's the case, just turn into someone who's stupid powerful and beat everybody.
Why is he not Quicksilver all of the time?
Yeah. Or like turn into Magneto and just use Magneto powers on it. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Right. That was definitely a big one. I liked him being there. Yeah, I liked his character. But,
I love the character.
But to make sense of his power was very confusing, so that did take away a little bit.
And also, like it felt like they didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah, that's what I meant by there were a lot of things the show obviously didn't know what to do with them. I think Morph
was one of them,
and Sunspot are my two main issues.
So I feel like Sunspot was kind of our
replacement Jubilee, basically.
Yeah, because like you're like when you're reading a new book or like watching a show, like usually you have that character that is entering this world for the first time, and they're the eyes through which you see and experience this stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And so like as they figure out what's going on, you're like, oh, and since X-Men 97 is so long ago, most people didn't grow up with it like we did.
So we need
They're coming in, they need a new character to be that intro for them. And I think that Sunspot was supposed to be that. But they didn't handle it very well.
No.
Yeah, I would have never picked that up. So yeah, I mean, if that was the idea, then it didn't work.
Yeah, and it's weird to me like if that's your goal, like it's weird to me because you're releasing it on Disney Plus, which already has the other show. Like, don't you think people are just gonna go back and watch the show? Like, we don't need that character. And so yeah, he felt kind of needless too. Like they were like, we need someone to like join Magneto in the end. Like Rogue, that's an easy choice, but who else? Let's just introduce someone else, right? And I would add to that, like I was appreciating how it was more of the team, like they brought more of the characters to the forefront, but they like pushed Wolverine so far back that he also didn't have. He's like there, like he's grumpy and he's there.
See, to be fair, I can kind of respect them for doing that to Wolverine because he has the movies. So it's like,
true.
We've had Wolverine in the spotlight for decades now.
Well,
it's time to give him a little bit of.
I believe that's what the writer wanted to do, because he had all those movies. He's like, all right, we're gonna sideline Wolverine because there's more to X-Men.
We still had a lot of great Wolverine moments, which I can respect. Right. They're like, give him slicing through all these human Sentinels for the first time. Give him stabbing Magneto.
Yeah.
But we didn't need to give him as much spotlight as someone like Cyclops, who does need a bit of an audience redemption.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas with like Morph, Sunspot, you kind of have to push them a little more to make me care about them, and I just don't at the end.
Yeah. Because like it was weird. Like when you think about Morph in the original series, like I feel like he was poorly handled there too. Like because he was supposed to be, I killed him. Yeah. No, well, we brought him back. Right? Well, like even then, you were like, Morpho, whatever. Yeah. Right?
I liked his story in the original, like how he ended up coming back being under Sinister's influence or whatever.
I appreciated that we got echoes of that, right? Because every time he saw Sinister, he was terrified.
Yeah, yeah. And they brought it up too, like, hey, you know what he's going through. Like you've been there before.
Yeah. It was just been nice to see them utilize him a little more outside of just the pun guy, like the quip guy, like give him a role or something, like.
Well, maybe season 2, we'll see.
Because it was like it was weird because like even like they were like, let's bring Nightcrawler in to replace Gambit immediately after his death. Like even in the intro, like when they're running by, right? Like Gambit's gone, Nightcrawler's there.
Nightcrawler.
Yeah. But even he was like, I'm gonna be the good brother to Rogue, like. Even he got more action, man. Yeah. And I was just like, what the heck? Like,
Morph to our guy.
Yeah, Morph is on the team, and he ain't got nothing.
Right. But Nightcrawler was a solid replacement.
Nightcrawler was awesome.
Yeah, especially who's wielding 3 swords.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah. Got 6 reasons for you. 9, brother. What did
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't say that
Yeah.
that way. He says
And-
it-
The classical music as he gets. Oh,
If they're smart, they'll. I mean, because there's so much you can do with Nightcrawlers in addition, you know, because he's like a really, really. It was interesting to me with the sword stuff, but like, he's really devout Catholic.
yeah, we got that multiple times.
Yeah, and so you can get some really heavy. And Claremont did great in the comics, like really great existential stories, right? And I feel like lean into that. And you got some really great stories that you can tell with that character.
Yeah.
You know.
and they kind of were, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, because he's like trying to protect and take care of Rogue, and even though she's a dum dum, right? And act like a dum dum.
Even so, Rogue was one of my favorite. Okay, we're not talking about the good yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have any more bad?
There was a few things that I could probably nitpick. Like, well, I had told you there's certain scenes like when Professor X comes back and they're just like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man?" You know, like there was
We did
no
rush past a lot of stuff.
because there was talk like, "Oh, he's dead, he's never coming back." Wish Professor X was back, and then he's back, and they're like, "Oh yeah, hey." You know, there's that.
I still think that Mojo episode was weird.
The Mojo episode.
It was
Yeah, whenever
That
Mojo
was the
shows
weakest.
up is weird anyway.
well,
a
not
weird
necessarily
character.
that he was there, just the way that episode is set up, where it's just two halves.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas even later, when they're like, "Oh, we're gonna finish the life death story," it's still interspersed with another story.
Yeah.
Like,
I
why
feel
did
like-
we split it down the middle for that one episode?
Yeah, and I feel like it did nothing for Jubilee or Sunspot.
Yeah.
So we could have done without that part of the episode. The Storm and Forge and crazy bird monster.
I think it did a little bit
like
for
that
Jubilee.
was solid.
Because it like showed Jubilee that she can do way more with her power. I think that was what they were trying to tell us, but they did a poor job of it.
And then she really didn't. So
I don't know, she
You know-
put up a pretty good fight at the end. Like
she did, but it had nothing to do really with that episode.
It's true.
I think it's that episode is supposed to be like, oh, this is her training, so that now when she does,
Well, because she
cool
saw her
stuff
future
later-
self
Then it
doing
makes
this
sense.
stuff, you know,
Yeah,
and so she's like, "Oh, I'm capable of more."
Sure, I guess, but maybe they just didn't do a good job of it. And
I still
I
don't like
just-
that episode very much. But-
like I just forgot about that episode. So like when she does the cool stuff, I don't reference back to that
Yeah.
and be like, "Oh, that's why she could do that."
Also,
now.
like I had a issue with the Executioner. Like I felt like he was throwaway just to do the Storm stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
I did think they were gonna bring him back because like he's alive. We know that he's
he was
alive.
a cool character.
yeah, and you could do a lot with that. Like you could do a lot with his character, and especially if you like build some build up around him, you know.
Yeah,
But they were like pushing so hard to get to the Bastion stuff. And I thought, honestly, having read Operation Zero Tolerance, where like it was all Bastion, like they did a pretty good job with Bastion, like way better than I feel like the comics did.
He was crazy.
I like how we're supposed to be doing the bad stuff.
we just keep
It's
going to
just-
the good. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Well, because they counterbalance, man. Like,
right.
The
Every
thing, the
single
negative
time.
things only like make it more poignant how good the good things were. you
Yeah,
know?
Yeah. So let's just get to the good things.
yeah.
then.
Let's get to the good things.
Uh,
So, you have any highlights?
Let the good times
The
roll.
series overall. Any favorite characters? Favorite moments
okay.
besides episode 5?
Are we doing a favorite episode?
Sure.
Okay. My favorite episode ended up being episode 2
Me
overall.
too. Yeah.
And we talked about
yeah.
it when the first time we talked about the show. And then, yeah, having watched the rest of it, episode 2 was still my favorite. The action in it, the soliloquy that Magneto has
Yeah.
was still, I think, the best out of the whole series.
Yeah, that's one of the things that makes Magneto like worth keeping around.
Yeah.
His soliloquies, man. That dude.
Yeah.
Every episode he was in, I feel
Dude,
like
my favorite moment, Cable saying, "I'm sorry, Mom," as he's like ripped back in time.
Yeah.
Boom, blow it up,
Dead.
everybody dead. Oh, that was
That-
that was.
That was a good episode.
I mean, there
that
was
hit, yeah.
there was a lot of good moments. Even Remy sacrificing himself
the
was a
name's
great.
Gambit.
Yeah, taking her out with the motorcycle. I was like, no, not Gambit. Like,
Yeah, and then Rogue coming back and it says the name's Gambit, remember it, and then you know,
which is also a callback to the original series because like every time Cable showed up, he'd be like, "The name's Cable, remember it, right?" And I was like, "That's funny."
yeah. You talked about the optic blast with Cyclops. That was great.
I love the moment in the finale when he just takes them off
Yeah.
And then he's crying. I was like,
Oh
oh,
my
man.
gosh. When the way that they use tears through the show,
The way they use
like these
tears,
are grown men,
Yeah.
superhero grown men that are weeping at certain parts of the show.
Yeah.
I think tears and blood. They don't use blood very often in the
Right.
show, but when they do, it's a sign of, oh no.
Right.
There's episode 5. Madeline Pryor starts bleeding from her nose, and you go, something's real wrong right now. And then I think it's 7 or 8 or 9. Wolverine stabs Magneto. His claws are bloody.
Yeah.
It's yeah, this is
Yeah.
you
And
know what we're doing right now.
even Rogue, when it shows her have a little nosebleed and she's like
Yeah.
wipes her face and does a little snarl like that little scene. There's like, okay, it's on.
Yeah.
Like just the way that Rogue was so. I mean, she was off the chain. Like
Yeah, Rogue was quick.
Did not expect to like her in this show.
No,
When she
she
went
was-
after Gyrish, and that was
she was like, she was wilding.
I love that, like, because they kept referencing like we're not just a team, we're a family.
Yeah.
And then at the end, like, the two go with Magneto, and then as soon as things are going amiss, like they're like folded back in, like,
Yeah.
and that's family drama right there, man. Like, you get into your fight, and then the chips are down, and everybody's back together being a family. You know, like that's how it works.
Yeah, that little conversation with Cable and
His parents.
his parents through telepathy.
Yeah.
Telepathy.
Get to see.
Telepathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to see Cyclops' eyes for the first time.
Yep.
It's, yeah.
And doesn't Cable shed a tear in that part too?
He might have. I don't remember.
He may or may not. I don't
It was weird to me. Like, one of the things that was weird to me, like I understood the purpose, like having Bishop exit, like to take Cable to the future. But it was almost like they were like, oh, we can't have too many time travelers. Like Bishop out, Cable in, right?
Yeah.
That was weird.
I think it's funny they just kicked Bishop out of the show for a while. Like, we don't know what to do with him either. But at least we have an excuse for getting rid of him.
Yeah, and then they brought him back at
Yeah.
the end.
So I assume he'll be on, like, the new X-Men,
Yeah.
whatever they do for
Yeah.
present day stuff.
Yeah, he'll be he'll play a critical role in the time travel.
They're clearly going to build a new team,
Yeah.
right?
Colossus, definitely on that team.
I would have liked to have seen more Colossus this episode or this season. So I'm looking forward to the next season to see some more of him.
Yeah.
He was funny in the original, like just real nice guy.
Yeah.
With
how
his
he's,
Russian accent.
Yeah.
He's like an artist, like
Yeah.
real tenderhearted,
Yeah.
I love
and then
Colossus.
turns into a big old steel monster and beats the crap out of people. You know?
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing him for sure.
I just want more Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler
Nightcrawler's
was
awesome.
another great character.
Dude, and
The way he's so lazy.
they did dirty, like Banshee just
Yeah.
blasted
gone.
right out of the air. Yeah, man, him and Moira, I think that was Moira.
Yeah.
But if that's Moira, man, they just cut off a whole lot of future possible stories because she is central right now in the comics.
So the main writer got fired, right? So season 2
Main writer.
Yeah, the showrunner, I think, right?
was it the showrunner?
think
Well,
it's the showrunner.
there's been conversations that there's
It was stolen from that Linda show.
no. So it almost as bad. So
Oh, no.
nothing's been confirmed, but allegedly, someone on staff, one of the writers or one of the creatives involved, worked with like a super fan who is like some, like they got like an internet handle or whatever, and that whoever that person was basically lined out all the ideas, and they're alleging now that whoever that was basically wrote the whole first season. I mean, like, gave the direction for it, and then the writers just kind of wrote the stories. And then people were like, well, one person got fired, so
Yeah.
right. So there's speculation that like maybe he's the one that went and did this, and so like maybe the team that did it is not actually as creative as they say they are, that it came from like this super fan who was introduced to them and then gave them all the ideas, and then they just wrote out scripts based on those ideas.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, so it's be interesting to see how all that plays out, but that started popping up in the news like this last week.
Yeah.
Second season is going to be the test of that, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, they've got they've got stuff to work with now.
Yeah.
So there's still potential there.
Yeah, because they wrote the show, like they're still obviously good writers.
Yeah.
Just see through the stories that you've established. The problem is, like, if they really don't know a lot about X-Men and had to go to
Right.
an outside source,
Right.
do they spend the intervening time reading and catching up so that they do know enough?
Yeah.
Or
is it just-
But they're just gonna wing it.
they just make a mess of it because they don't know enough, but they're decent writers, and so they're trying to churn out something based on their ability
yeah.
and go stray so far from the source material that people are like, what the crap is this?
Yeah.
Because that happens.
Ugh. Always something. You
Always
can't just.
something.
And that's why I'm so happy with Daredevil. At least the 3 seasons, like it was solid all the way through for the
It
most
ended
part.
basically on its own terms.
Yeah.
So I actually read recently that all 3 seasons of Daredevil are really good.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I like that they made fun of the movies wearing the black
Oh
leather.
yeah,
What were you expecting? Black leather?
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite lines, for sure.
Cyclops
was-
got to say it.
Uh-huh.
And it was
great.
cool to me that like they wore the costumes from like the older
Yeah.
X-Men when they went to Asteroid M,
Yeah.
and that was dope. Like, because that's
Yeah.
people usually refer to those costumes as like the Outback costumes or whatever.
Yeah.
When the X-Men were like living in Australia.
Crazy times.
Yeah, I actually like the Cyclops suit.
Yeah, I like it too. I hope they stick with it. It's actually an older costume, so like he went from like the original costume, which was like yellow and blue, and we don't usually see often, and then that one, and he wore that one for a long time. And then in the '90s, when Jim, what's his face, like there's a whole group of them like took over after Chris Claremont was done. They gave him the costume that we know of, like the one that he wore in the show. And so it's weird to me that one is more iconic because in the comics,
He didn't wear it for as long.
he did not wear it nearly as long. And that one
Yeah, but in the
that he
90s
donned
when it was really popular.
yeah.
So
But
That would
the
make
one that he
sense.
wore at the end was way more iconic, and the ones that he's gotten more recently harken back to that one a lot more than the one from the show.
yeah, the suits were cool. I always liked the Wolverine brown,
Yeah,
so I thought that was cool.
yeah. He also wore that. That was also Outback Wolverine costume there.
We can go through the villains. We didn't really talk about them as much.
Okay.
So we got Mr. Sinister.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Who's back?
Oh, he'll
yeah.
definitely be
There's
back.
no way that they kept him alive just for nothing.
I didn't like so much
I
that
like
they made him like almost like a lapdog. Like
He's an underling.
yeah,
But even then,
Yeah.
he didn't think he was, which I think is why it works.
Yeah,
that was funny.
He thinks he's the...
He thought he was the top dog for sure.
yeah. That was really good, and just shows like that is the attitude and personality of villains.
Sinister,
Yeah. I like I said, I having read the Operation Zero Tolerance, I thought they did Bastion way better than he was in the comics.
Yeah.
Like,
Isn't he like 3 things fused together by accident or something?
yeah, it's like real convoluted and complicated, and like there's always like some sort of time travel involved or some time something involved. Like the way that it was like, no, you're a mutant, and Xavier approached your mother, and she was like, nah, he's not a mutant, just stay away from us, like you freak. Like that really worked for me.
Yeah.
And the fact that he like ripped off
Cable's
Cable's
just
arm,
started-
which is like future tech,
Yeah.
and like that's why he was so unstoppable. He's running around.
Yeah, and that's what I had asked him. Like, why wasn't he just that the whole time? And then he was like, I don't know, maybe because of the future tech arm. I was like, okay, well, I could buy that.
Yeah,
And that makes sense, I guess.
Sure.
But yeah, he was a really good character.
His villain speeches, they were all good.
Oh yeah, and when
He just-
when Cyclops was,
but the dude that does his voice is like a legit
Yeah.
good actor anyway.
I don't know who is it.
What's the name? Theo something. I
Theo
think.
James, I think.
Yeah.
Theo James. I know the name. I can't picture him. But yeah, when Cyclops is given, he's like, "No, we got to embrace the future." And he starts talking to him. He's like, "You trying to appeal to my humanity?"
Yeah, that was hilarious.
That was so funny. That was a great line from him.
That was a good line.
Yeah. I like Bastion a lot in this show because of what he represents thematically.
Yeah,
Like he is, I think this is like the masterstroke of genius of the entire show, because it is set in the 90s and it is about, or it's set in the 90s made during the 2020s
Yeah.
and is about the past versus the future. And just that central theme of refusing to move forward. And I think that was the expectation going into the show with a lot of people was,
Yeah.
they're just going to do more of the 90s show.
Yeah.
And so directly battling that in the narrative itself by having the villain be this future enemy that the heroes have to go, okay, we can't stop what's coming, and so we're going to embrace that.
And then immediately being like the result of the battle being like not the same anymore, right?
Yeah, no. Everything changes from
Everything.
that point forward.
Yeah.
I thought they didn't use Executioner very well. One of the things I did really love was the numerous cameos.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, it would have been cool to get more. And man, so we talk about how like off the chain Rogue was. When she took Captain America's shield and just threw it, that was Giacchino.
He had to go looking for
That was messed up, yeah.
Does
He's
he
just, like,
have it?
like hiking through
Yeah.
the mountains and the snow.
Yeah.
Does he have it in any scene after that, though?
I don't remember seeing
But
it.
they don't really show him doing any kind of battle, so he wouldn't have it.
Magneto.
Magneto was awesome. I already said like his speeches,
Yeah.
and he had a lot of them. But that first one from episode 2 was my favorite one.
I was really sad we didn't get more Shi'ar stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, why are you going to show Gabriel Summers, like Vulcan,
Just out there.
just out there hanging out and then do nothing with him?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go back to the cameos.
Sure.
Ronan.
Yeah,
Wasn't expecting that one.
the cameos were fun, but like you said, I would have liked to have seen them actually do something. I thought it was cool though that like final scene where they're battling, they're also like you see them battling in their respective
Yeah. So Daredevil
lands.
on the street.
Except for Peter Parker, who's just watching the TV, standing
but
next
he
to Mary
found
Jane.
MJ. And that's what matters.
That's true.
Well, yeah, I guess that's where they went with that.
Like he's watching Daredevil like down the street fight for his life, man.
yeah,
And Cloak and Dagger, right? And
Yeah.
he's just like TV.
That's interesting.
yeah, a lot of fun cameos though, and I think they did them as well as you could do a cameo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I loved the brief Omega Red.
Yeah.
Like that can be a really cool.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of fun stuff with Omega
Like,
Red.
I don't know a whole lot about Omega Red, but
He's that cool looking character.
when I was young, I had a card, you know the trading cards, right, of the X-Men. I had an Omega Red card that was like Prism.
Nice.
You know, you move it.
Prismatic,
Yeah. And I actually had a few X-Men cards, but I don't know if I threw the other ones away or I gave them away, but I know I kept that Omega Red card because he was just such a cool looking character. I was like, I'm going to keep this one.
Yeah.
And I put it like, so I've got baseball card because I used to collect baseball cards. I have baseball card, Omega Red, baseball card, baseball card. Yeah.
So Omega Red is like your personal X-Men
As
character.
far as look, like I said, I don't really know anything about him.
Yeah.
Deathspore, man. Like if you like Deathspore, his power is Deathspore. He like walks in the room, people just start dying.
Is
He
that
just has-
really?
yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Sounds
like
great.
when he shows up, like basically Wolverine's gotta like try to beat him before his healing factor gives up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it
man.
makes
That
like,
makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, because like if your main enemy is Wolverine, like we gotta do something to make you like
To balance it out.
yeah, because like Magneto, easy, right? Like
Yeah.
we saw it.
You can't
right?
really have him fight Magneto.
But yeah, like most of the time, like Wolverine, what are you gonna do? Like you shoot the dude in the face with a shotgun, he's fine.
So,
Overall,
Watch X-Men '97.
watch X-Men.
It's worth your time.
Yeah.
I think there was one person I saw that started watching it and didn't like it. And I was like, I don't know what's
I don't know
wrong.
what to tell you. Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with you.
It is
But-
superhero content with substance, which is really nice. It really feels like they have something to say using these characters.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we have a story that we want to tell. It's not just, oh, we need some X-Men stuff out.
Right. Yeah, so obviously best Marvel stuff that's come out in
Oh,
a
yeah.
long time
Easily.
as a whole. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier where animation is making not a comeback but kind of, because
You get a lot of prestige animation stuff now.
yeah. All right. Well, cool. X-Men though.
X-Men.
93% average rating for our spice meter. Anything else that you want to say on it? Any other good points, bad points?
It was good.
Yeah.
Good show.
Good overall
up.
show. If you don't like it, please let us know.
We would like to hear why.
I get it that like it might not be for some people, right? It's a cartoon, kind of got some like anime type flair to it in some sections.
I mean, episode 3 had the best action sequences, and it was the most anime one.
Yeah, but in the final episode was full of action. It was a 45-minute episode, all good looking action.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it is little anime. So
in
like
the best ways. It's so cool.
Yeah. The dialogue in it is so good. All the exposition of the character. I mean, if you don't like it, I don't understand. Like, I truly don't understand what it is, and I would like to at least like, okay, I could see that.
If you don't like it, you're probably a fan of Todd McFarlane.
Right. So yeah, if you're not feeling that show, let us know why. And if you are, let us know your favorite parts and all that stuff. So, anything else that we got?
No.
No?
X-Men.
We're good. X-Men 97.
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Aside from it getting spoiled that it was not original, we're still satisfied.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's it for now. Find us on our socials again, the Room Upstairs Podcast, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and then of course anywhere you listen, you can listen to us. Yeah, so we have our upcoming battle. Go do your homework. John Williams versus
Daniel
Pemberton.
Whoever's losing.
So yeah, do your homework. Let us know on that. We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for checking us out.
That's fandom for you.